Hi, my name's Nick Oldham. I'm a primary teacher in a school in Cuffley, which is in Hertfordshire, just north of London. I've been teaching in primary for 5 years now. Prior to that, I was working in the music industry and other media before that, doing sort of law, legal work. And ultimately I made a decision to leave because I didn't find the job particularly satisfying. I felt that for all the millions of pounds that I was generating for my employees, I was ultimately just making millionaires millions of pounds, and that wasn't a brilliant thing for me. So I looked for something that I felt was going to be more worthwhile as a vocation. My partner still is a primary school teacher, and I had the opportunity to help her out not only in the class but also in preparation for some of her lessons, and I had further opportunities with some of her colleagues to experience lessons being taught in her school. I really enjoyed the experience, so mainly on that basis I would say I chose primary over secondary. Academically I have a very broad selection of qualifications, science at A level, but then humanities and business degrees as well. And I felt that going into secondary school, perhaps you're sort of locked into very specific things very quickly, whereas in primary you have the opportunity to convey and teach a far greater spectrum of things. In addition to that, I would say you have to use all the sort of skills that you have in primary to ensure that you're conveying fundamentally important ideas to very young children, and that in itself is quite an interesting challenge, but a very satisfying one as well. Also an opportunity for me to learn an awful lot of stuff, and there's many aspects of the primary curriculum that I wasn't familiar with. I would never consider myself an RE expert, for example, let alone an expert in sewing, and along the way I've learned quite a few things, and it is, I think, a very interesting job in those terms that there are always things that you can pick up for yourself, and actually the content of the primary curriculum is far greater than it was when I was that age, and there are always opportunities for you to find out more things. Each year, each class is very different from the next, so the way in which you approach the job changes all the time, but so does the content. I think that helps make the job a very fresh job, as well as a job that's very worthwhile. Certainly compared to working in the music industry, where actually day on day you are making a difference to the children, and from that you get a nice feeling of satisfaction that what you're doing is worth it.